want me to respond to this honestly?
Yeah, sure.
Headlines like this got me in trouble with the Egyptian government. If you want Ronaldo to hang out with you again, don't smell him. Definitely don't bark at him. Maybe just act normal. MrBeast to officially place bid for TikTok purchase. You guys just write articles on everything, don't you? Jeez. Obviously, it'd just be awesome.
Well, you better follow Jimmy. He's going to ask you.
Show me. Toss me that phone. Toss it here. Let's see if he follows me. Why are you downplaying my records?
Well, Jimmy, you know what? It's called views.
I looked in my rearview mirror and I was like, oh, I think this person's following me. And I just remember thinking like, what the f is my life? I don't want to be famous.
Jimmy, welcome to Clickbaited.
Thank you.
I want to get your take on some headlines that we wrote about you across the years.
Oh, gosh.
First off, do you read much of Dexerto's stuff?
I like when you guys like tweet the summaries of it. I usually read it. And then, if it's super spicy, I'll go over to the article and give it a read. I mean, you guys put out a lot of articles.
That's true. We do.
Yeah. I mean, how many articles have you written on me specifically?
So actually, that's a question that we have for you. We only have the data from 2021, but how many articles do you think? And we'll answer it at the end.
I mean, I feel like at this point, it's like every week. You probably have written, what, like 60 on me?
Since 2021?
Yeah, I would say like 60.
Okay, interesting. I think
Okay.
it's a lot higher.
Watch to the end to find out.
Okay, cool. Well, let's bring up the first headline.
MrBeast literally rented out the Egyptian pyramids for upcoming YouTube video. Can I, you want me to respond to this honestly?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, headlines like this got me in trouble with the Egyptian government because we didn't literally rent the pyramids. They let us use the pyramids for 100 hours, but we didn't technically rent it. So literally after you guys ran this story, I'm not even joking. This is actually a perfect one to start with.
So we got you in trouble with the Egyptian government?
No, I'm not even joking. After you guys ran this story, the high-ups in the Egyptian government called us, and they're like, are you telling people we rented out the pyramids? We don't rent them out. And I was like, no, that's just, the article they wrote. And then your article went super viral and everyone was like calling me about it. And like, I had at least 50 like famous people go, yo, how much does it cost? I want to rent out someone was like, I want to rent out the pyramids for my bar mitzvah. And I was like, you can't rent out the pyramids. And they're like linking your article.
Well, sorry, Jimmy, it's my bad.
Just don't go to Egypt.
What was your kind of biggest challenge with Egypt? Obviously, it wasn't rented, as we've now established.
Just drop the literally and then maybe after this just go edit the title. The thing about the 3 Great Pyramids of Egypt is they're literally one of the 7 wonders of the world.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the national treasure of Egypt and arguably the coolest thing on the planet. So I thought it was just a pipe dream that we'd ever get access to them. Like I kind of said it as a joke. I was like, oh, I would love to have the pyramids in 7 days in it.
Yeah.
Couldn't get 7 days, but after like talking with them month after month, they slowly like warmed up to the idea. And I was like, oh, we're getting somewhere. And eventually, I mean, it took so many twists and turns. At one point we were talking with the United Nations. I mean, it was crazy, all the hoops we had to jump through. And eventually my team's like, we got a yes. And I didn't believe it. Until I actually started filming the pyramids, I was in constant doubt, like, nah, this isn't actually going to happen. And then, they gave me the keys. I explored it. And, I mean, it's a really good video.
Also, I know you said we got you in trouble with the Egyptian government. There was a bit of a storm on Twitter as well that we kind of started as well.
Oh, yeah. Someone also got 400,000 likes. I mean, this article just caused a lot of issues for me.
I don't know why is that why you made us do this podcast at 3 a.m.?
Yes. And I'm filming. Hey, to be clear, it's 2:30 a.m. But yeah, I'm filming a video with 100 people in 100 circles. And I was supposed to finish filming 4 hours ago, but they've just been waiting to film this podcast. But now we're even. We'll chalk it up as 1-1.
And yeah, I think he called you a white devil, which is nice.
Yeah. When I brought up that tweet, notice how I didn't mention that part? I didn't want to relive it, but
Sorry, Jamie, that's what we do here. So yeah, and when it comes to like Twitter in general, like when people give you kind of negative feedback, like how do you respond to that? Like what's your kind of take on it? Because it's just impossible to please everybody.
It is. Well, especially on my size, because hundreds of millions of people watch the videos. So like that's the thing is you have to, when you're at this level, you have to have your own moral and ethical code, and you have to just like you have to have something you stand on and believe in, and if you believe what you're doing is moral and you believe it's ethical, I know this sounds weird because we make YouTube videos and stuff, but you have to kind of like there's always going to be opinions on both sides, and like you have to figure out what it is you value and what is correct and good to you. And then and once you have that and you firmly believe in it, it doesn't matter if other people are telling you like, no, you shouldn't use your money to help 2,000 people walk in, you should use your money to do this thing, or I don't agree with it, blah blah. It's like, I can read it and it's just like, well, this is what I want to do, this is what I believe in. And I think it's that. But when you don't have that and you're just at the whim of whatever the internet says, that's where I think it will just drive you mad, because then you're always trying to please everyone, and that's just impossible, and then you're just going to be dissatisfied.
Does that make you less inclined to do kind of educational style stuff, because it is there often is a conflict around that?
No, I'd actually say in the past I didn't do as much educational stuff because it's very hard to make educational content entertaining, but that's something I'm trying to work in more and more in my videos. Pyramids, there's a lot of educational stuff. And the video we did recently where we helped 2,000 people walk again, we really focused on educating about how insurance sometimes denies people prosthetics, and how, you can donate prosthetics, and how prosthetics change their lives. And I tried to work more of that in. I would say it's more just a lack of skill. Like Mark Rober does it really well. Like he makes these really big, entertaining spectacles that also educate you. And Mark Rober is one of the very few people on the platform that can do both entertainment plus education. Like there's a different way of saying it is there's very few YouTubers I know that a 12-year-old would be like, yo, that guy makes amazing content that's also educational. Mark Rober's one of them.
Amazing. Let's hit the next one.
MrBeast set over 28 Guinness World Records for Beast Games Amazon show. Actually, it was 50 world records, but
50.
Yeah,
nice. I was gonna say. I was gonna say
they're literally downstairs. You wanna?
I was gonna say on the Impulsive podcast, you did say over 40 records. So, that's obviously the Beast Games themselves insane.
Yeah. Why are you downplaying my records?
Well, I'm gonna speak to the writer about it, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Did he just make up a random number, or did I say 28 somewhere?
I think it'll have definitely said it 28 at some point when we wrote the article, but then after that you'd said over 40. But I think as well because
that might have because I might have said that while I was still in the process of filming it. Okay, I was like, did this guy just make up a random number?
No, not this time. But so many records broken. Kind of what was your favorite record that was broken, and what's the most niche one, do you think?
Yeah, my favorite one's definitely largest cash prize of history. I mean, isn't that crazy that of every competition reality show that's ever happened, no one's given away more money in a single season than us? We have the largest grand prize. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. This also come out after it's aired, the last aired as well, so we can talk about.
I say we give away $5 million. I can't say anything else besides that. I have no spoilers. But yes, in the first season of Beast Games, we give away over $20 million between all the prizes we give out, which is also another world record. But the thing is, it's not even like we were trying to break all these world records. We were just doing it, and we just had a Guinness person there, and they were just like, "Oh, this is a world record," and I was like, "Oh, cool." I just needed a giant ping pong cup,
How hard is it to work with a company like Amazon, where they're used to doing things in a certain way? I'm sure you got a lot of feedback, but you can tell from the Beast Games itself that there's definitely a lot of YouTube element to it in terms of retention. Did you have to kind of push back on them? Was there any back and forth in terms about what you wanted to do, or was it kind of it's the Jimmy show?
It was horrible. Okay, I'm just kidding. No, the reason we went with Amazon is because so we talked to every streaming platform, but all the other ones just wanted control over the edit and creative control and this or that, and I was like, hey guys, I get 200 million views a video. I kind of have a rough idea what my audience wants. Can I just make a show I think my audience will like? And some platforms were like, no. And I was like, oh, it's a little weird. But Amazon was like, yeah, that makes sense. You seem to know how to make content your audience likes. Go for it. And so that's why I ultimately chose Amazon, is because they gave us control over the edit. They let us make the show we wanted to make. And for better or worse, that's what I got. I'm very happy with how it turned out. In hindsight, there are definitely some things I would change and do better. And so season 2 is going to be infinitely better. But I'm so grateful. Amazon was awesome to work with. I mean, I've never done something at this scale before. So there's times where I was behind on deadlines, or, maybe we're edit the video, episode 1 is due the edit on this day. And I'm like, hey, I know this is a deadline, but if you give me another week, I can make it better. And, is there any way we could just change all these systems and processes? And this is a big company, but they were always willing to work with me. And I'm so glad I went with Amazon.
So Beast Games, obviously a huge competition, but you're a very busy man, as we've kind of witnessed here. You kind of doing so many
What do you
different
mean?
things.
It's only 2:30.
So how did you fit that into your schedule? Like, how did you even get enough time to do it? Like, was that kind of quite a stressful time in your life?
Oh, it's brutal because the thing is, we were consistently uploading on YouTube, even though we filmed Beast Games. So the thing is, like, I filmed every day for like 60 days, so 2 months leading up to it. I was just doing main channel video, main channel video, main channel video, main channel video, main channel video. So then we could backlog videos. So then Beast Games, we filmed 15 hours a day every day for basically 45 days straight. And then we burned through the backlog of the videos. So then I come out of Beast Games and it's like, oh shit, we have no main channel videos. And so now it's so it was basically like probably like 5 months of basically filming every single day. It was brutal. It was very brutal.
Does that take a toll on kind of like, the relationships that you have? Like, you're just recently engaged. Does that take a toll on that relationship?
Did you guys write an article on me proposing?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Man, these guys got everything. Yeah, it definitely it takes a toll on everything. I mean, like it's a weird, like, being a top tier YouTuber. You could almost compare it to like, it's a weird comparison. I know some people are going to clip this and be like, the ego, but it's almost like being a top tier athlete. Like, you always have to be on point. Like, it's not a thing that you just deserve. It's something you got to wake up and earn every single day. And like, there are millions of people who want to be YouTubers. There are tens of millions of people who want to be YouTubers. There are millions of YouTubers, I believe, that do it full time as a career. There are probably 20, 30, 50 million people who want to be me, who want to be the biggest YouTuber in the world, who are, and there are millions that are obsessing every day over how they can take my spot, how they can dethrone me. Not like specifically get 300 million subscribers, but that's what their dream in life is, to be the biggest. And so, it's just a thing that, like, if you want to stay on top, you just got to make a lot of sacrifice, to be honest.
So obviously there's been huge support for it. There has been a lot of, you've been top of Amazon on various different charts.
Yeah.
And obviously as the episodes keep releasing, we expect that to continue.
Whoop, whoop.
But it's not always been positive.
Hit it.
MrBeast hits back at critic for negative review of Beast Games, calling it painful. So,
yeah.
I think one thing that I noticed when a lot of the reviews came out, I think it was only based on a couple of episodes.
Yeah.
And, there was, especially the mainstream media, they seem to kind of have a different opinion to it, to the audience. I mean, if we look at Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's 13% critic score, but 90% audience score.
Yep.
Yeah, is it frustrating to see that?
Well, what's interesting is the critic score is based off of 8 critics. So it's like when people reference the critic score on Rotten Tomato, it's like you're literally just referencing 8 people. Whereas when you look at our popcorn score, which is probably over 10,000 reviews, it's 90%, 9 out of 10. But then you look at the critic score. Would you say it was 3 out of 10? I haven't looked at it in a while.
2 out of 10. Originally at the time it was 2. I think the tweet that you responded to was that it was, I think you said, one sad person who doesn't like me can just label something 1,000 people poured their lives into a 2 out of 10 when it's clearly not.
Yeah. Well, and so the thing is, all those, all the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes came out when only 2 of the 10 episodes had dropped. So they rated the entire series based off of 2 episodes. Most of the reviews came in like right when the show dropped. So I don't think they've watched the show, and they just rated it 1 star. So, I mean, here's the thing. Like, not everyone's going to like the show. And so it's just like, if someone objectively watches all 10 episodes and they say it's terrible, then that's their opinion. And then all I would ask is, hey, could you tell me like why? And then I'll work to improve it in the future. So at the end of the day, I'm making the show to entertain the audience, not 8 random critics. So it just is what it is. You know what I mean?
In the show itself, I find that there's a kind of a lot of psychology.
Yeah.
They've been there for a month. They all love each other, supposedly, but then...
But when the time comes...
Yeah, exactly.
It's right in the back.
When it comes to the psychology of that, do you have help there? Do you speak with kind of people who delve in that area? Or is it kind of just purely just what you and your team have come up with?
Yeah, like for the game theory and game creation?
Yeah, just in terms of like, when you're gonna potentially make people stab each other in the back, or
we don't make anyone do
anything.
Of
course.
To be clear, there's no making of doing of things.
But you put them
we put them in a scenario where
though.
they could also be a hero, but they choose to stab each other in the back. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's I just have, like you said, you have a phenomenal team that writes good articles. I have a phenomenal team that just writes great games. Like it's hard to imagine of a company that's come up with more games in the last couple of years than us. There might be, I don't know. I'm just making things up. But like, in Beast Games, like we invented so many games that just have never existed before. And that's something like I've just got a killer team that is very creative. And yeah, they're just like every week coming up with like 10, 20 games that don't exist. I'm like, that's weird. But occasionally I'm like, yo, that's good. You know, and then we just save them and use them.
Do you ever kind of have a challenge where people have to do something and you're like, do you feel bad about it at all? Because there's so many, like in the episodes, there's so many people that are like, you know, a lot of the theme, at least is that a lot of people are struggling, a lot of people need help.
Yeah.
And so then to eliminate someone that, you know, has essentially been kind of talking about their trauma or their issues or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is that hard sometimes to kind of cut that person?
Yeah, there are all the times, there are moments where, because I like Beast Games, I did nothing but film this for 45 days. I was there on set, 15 hours plus a day, every day. I got to know a ton of these contestants, especially deeper in. I was spending every night, just hanging out with them by the fire or whatever at the park that we had in the city and just, hearing all their stories. And so it was even more brutal for Beast Games on some of these because, like, I actually knew a lot about, they weren't just random people. I knew a lot about their stories. And then when they got eliminated, it hurt. But that's also why we gave every single person $2,000 that showed up. And, it's just one thing that a lot of people don't see is like after these season 1 of Beast Games, we got so many emails and messages from people saying like, I was sad I didn't win the money, but I didn't realize how many friends I made. And like, I just hung out with these 3 people and we did this thing, or I made like there was this one email that I occasionally just randomly think of. I don't know why, but when I read it, I was like, whoa, I was not expecting this. Like this one lady said that she just, after like college, she just didn't make that many friends and she like works from home. And like Beast Games was like the first time in like 10 years she'd really gotten out of the house, and she made so many friends and it like made her so much more she wrote a very long email about how it changed her life and like you made her way more confident. And she's like, I don't even care that I didn't win money. I'm just so glad about the experience. And we get so many messages like that, which you wouldn't think, but these are just normal people, right? Not as far as I know, no one that competed in Beast Games was a millionaire. They're just like all just typical people working typical jobs. And so like to be able to experience something like that and like get out of their comfort zone and meet new people and compete in these challenges, like I think a lot of them got things out of it that weren't just monetary.
What's been your biggest takeaway from Beast Games? And you kind of mentioned it just before there, season 2. Is there any details on that? Can you share anything?
Can't talk about.
Is it going to happen?
Nothing about season 2. I can't say yet, but I'm sure when the time comes, you'll see a Dexerto article on it. But
no doubt.
Just like, yeah, exactly. Just like every little other thing in my life, it'll be there.
So, Joe, we're just keeping a track of your history. You know what I mean? You
yeah.
can just, if you're ever unsure what you've done or what's been said,
exactly.
you can just go on the Dexerto
and just
page,
search MrBeast.
Perfect. You can just have a look down.
You should just have a MrBeast tab.
We do.
Oh, really?
Oh, not at the top, but this time.
Yeah, you should just literally just put one up. I mean,
we're gonna move on now to the biggest article in terms of views that we had.
Oh, really?
So.
Really? On your website?
On our website, since 2021, of the number of articles that we'll mention at the end, this is the one that got the most views.
How many views?
I think it was a couple of 100,000 at least, if not more, maybe a few million. Yeah.
This article got a few million views on Dexerto.
Just based on this title, yeah.
MrBeast urges man to change his name to avoid getting sued. Who did
So you remember this?
No, who did I tell to change their name?
So it's actually...
Oh, wait. Was it D's Nuts?
It is, correct.
Yes. That's funny.
Did you have any other unexpected copyright disputes like that? Is anyone... Because you must get people all the time trying to...
Oh, yeah. Fake lawsuits all the time.
Was there any other scrap names or flavors that you didn't end up releasing because you were like, oh, maybe that's...
Scrap names? Not really. I'm more just... I mean, this the thing that pops in my head is like, I had like... it is really difficult. Like, so on our peanut butter bar, it just says peanut butter. But for weeks, I was like, should it say creamy peanut butter? Would people like it more if it said creamy peanut butter or just peanut butter? And so, not scrap names, but like that's the kind of stuff I deal with. Hand me one of those Feastables bars. Just throw it right beside you. Thank you. That was a good throw.
Where does Feastables rank in your kind of priorities?
Clearly not high because we're doing a podcast. There's not even a Feastables. Yeah, very high. I mean, a lot of my time in 24 went to solving ethical sourcing because there's a lot of unethical things that go on in the chocolate supply chain. And so, I don't even know if me and you have talked about this, but most people don't realize this, but majority of the cocoa in the world comes from West Africa, and 46% of labor on cocoa farms in West Africa is child labor. And
right.
So, yeah, it's pretty brutal. So when I found that out, I was like, oh, this is a thing. And so I went to all the big chocolate companies, and truthfully, a lot of people just didn't give a fuck. And I was like, well, I give a fuck. So that's what I spent a lot of time last year on, was just figuring out, how do we do that? And the number one reason there is child labor in West Africa is because people don't pay their farmers enough. So since they're in such deep poverty, they literally just can't afford to hire labor. So they have to use kids or whatever, child labor. And so if you want to solve child labor in your supply chain, you have to pay your farmers a living income. And so that's what we do. 100% of Feastables farmers make a living income, which, to calculate that, obviously a living income in West Africa is different than a living income in USA, which is different than a living income in Japan. So we look at all the cost of a house there, or inflation or bread or whatever. And then there's this thing called a living income reference price. And that's what we guarantee our farmers will make. In exchange for that, we audit their farms, talk to the kids, interview the parents, make sure there's not child labor going on. Yeah, I'm just trying to show that you can run a large scale chocolate company ethically.
With the philanthropy work, do you get a lot of negative feedback on that as well? Do you get more for that than you actually do for the rest of the stuff you do?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I think I said this on Theo Vaughn, and but yeah, is it weird to put my foot on the chair like this? I don't know.
I don't care.
Okay.
I'll do it as well.
Yeah, you join me. Yeah, I could upload a video where I do $1 vacation versus $250,000 vacation. No one cares. Yeah, it's a good video. It'll do well. But then if I upload a video where I help, 2,000 people walk again, or I built 100 wells in Africa that will give clean drinking water to a couple 100,000 people over the lifetime of the wells. Yeah, I mean, if you open Twitter, you'll see a lot of, opinions on it. And so it is fascinating that when I decide to take millions upon millions of dollars and help people, everyone has an opinion on it. But, when other people take millions of dollars and buy a mansion, no one cares. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it just, it seems weird, but it is what it is. Because truthfully, if you look at it, the philanthropic videos on my main channel are the worst performing videos. So the worst performing videos.
I saw that on Twitter, actually. You mentioned that you were like, I've uploaded this. It's probably going to be my worst performing video.
Oh, it is. Yeah. But they're the worst performing videos. They're the videos that generate the most hate. And if I didn't do them, people would criticize me way less. But I don't really care. I just do them because that's what I want to do. And I think a world where, I help people is better than a world where I don't. And so it just kind of is what it is. And that's what, if you listen back to when we started this, that's why I was saying you have to have your own moral compass and code and ethics. And I believe what we're doing is helping people, and I believe in what I'm doing, and people can complain as all they want, but I'm not going to stop helping people. You know what I mean? I believe a world where there's 30 million less pounds of trash in the oceans better than one where there's not. 20 million more trees, clean drinking water for 100,000 people, et cetera, et cetera. They could complain all they want. I'm not going to stop,
Well, talking of not stopping, it sounds like you're trying to add another thing to your resume. So we'll go to the next one. Now, I know the title of this one isn't necessarily quite accurate either. However, let's talk through it.
Yeah, MrBeast takes private jet to officially place bid for TikTok purchase. So, let me think of what I can actually say on here.
Why do you want to buy TikTok?
Well, obviously, I don't have the 50, 100 billion, whatever
Sure.
it ends up being. But, I'm working with groups. Gotta be careful what I say.
Yeah, sure. You don't have to say.
No,
you don't have to say specifics. But yeah,
Yeah.
what's your motivation to get TikTok, or to be part of it?
Well, I mean, obviously, it'd just be awesome. You know what I mean? TikTok is I'm not supposed to talk about this stuff publicly right now.
Okay.
So you'll have some fun articles potentially coming up.
Okay, cool.
Or I'll be really sad. We'll see.
Well, we'll leave it at that. Well, you're a very popular man, which leads on to our next topic.
MrBeast turns the table on paparazzi who followed him to dinner. What did I do?
So you were followed to dinner by a paparazzi channel, which I've actually experienced myself. You started critiquing their YouTube channel. What's your kind of relationship with the press in general? Obviously, here with us now chatting.
I fucking hate them. They're horrible.
The horrible,
especially the ones that read all the articles. No, I'm kidding.
What's kind of your relationship with the press in general, especially kind of the more mainstream media, so to say?
Yeah, what's my relationship with the press? I mean, to be honest, I don't really have one. They don't really talk to me. I mean, it's ironic because I'm sitting here with you, but I mean, I didn't even really know you guys until the past month. But.
Yeah. I asked about this because your fiance, she went to university in Edinburgh for the last year,
Yep.
Which is where I actually live as well. And I said,
Why?
"Oh, why do I live in Edinburgh?"
So cold.
Well, it is cold, but it's
Leave.
the most beautiful city in the world.
Well, you don't get to
And
enjoy
also
it 'cause
my-
it's freezing.
It's freezing here, Jimmy. I got in.
Yeah, but it's only freezing here like 2 months a year. It's freezing there like 12 months a year.
Yeah, that is true. It is pretty cold there. But you said when I asked you about that, I was like, did you end up getting mobbed when you went out and stuff? And you basically said you just can't really go out. Is that a fear of yours to go out, get mobbed, or to be hounded by the press or anything like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say fear. It's just a reality you have to live in at this size. It's just been interesting because I've been a decent sized YouTuber now for 6 years, but it's so interesting to see how it changes over the years because when I hit 10 million subscribers, I thought like that's fame. Like this is what it's like. And whatever, I'd go into Walmart and I'd take like 1 or 2 photos.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like there's just such a big difference between having 10 million subscribers and now I think we're on 350 million. And it's like every year I'm like, okay, this is like probably as crazy as it'll get, but it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. And like a more recent experience is like I looked in my rearview mirror and I was like, oh, I think this person's following me. Right. And so then I took a right-hand turn and they took a right-hand turn. I was like, interesting. And I took another right-hand turn and they took one. I was like, okay, let me do one more right-hand turn. Let's see. And then I did one more and I was like, okay, they're just following me. So then I took another one and I basically just like in a block, I just like went like this for like, it felt like 20 minutes, but I'm being dramatic. It was probably like 2 or 3 minutes straight. And then eventually I just rolled down my window and I was like, just you fucking stop following me. And then they eventually just stopped. And and so you just deal with like random stuff like that. But it's not even like I was out anywhere in public. They just like, just recognized me through the window. And so, which is why I get my windows super tinted because people all the time, like you can't even, how do you avoid that? Right? Like you're just chilling in your freaking car and people look over and they're like, oh, and then they roll down their window. They're like, photo. And I'm like, no, don't dox my car. And then they don't care. And it's a whole thing. So then I tint my windows like crazy. But then I get pulled over a bunch for having tinted windows. And I'm like explaining to the cop, I'm like, come on. I'm trying not to get stalked and harassed. Can we just, and they're always like, no. And I'm like, okay, understandable. No special treatment. And then I pay the ticket. It's a lot, but I try to remind myself theoretically when I'm at an airport and it's a late night flight, I've been flying for 10 hours and it's brutal and I'm feeling really agitated. I haven't slept, especially when it's coming off a long shoot and, someone comes up to me and maybe it's not the most polite way. I just try to remind myself, like, for them, this, I might be the only celebrity, if you'd classify me as one, like that they ever meet. And like for them, this is a big deal, right? For me, this might be the 10,000th time I've done this, but for them, this is a one-of-one experience. They're never going to forget it. And like, I got to put myself in that frame of mind. Like this is a big deal for them. And it's like, sometimes people might act weird or do something they wouldn't normally do out of excitement just because this like they've never had this happen before. And so I just got to keep that frame of mind. And I try to like, even when I'm feeling depressed or down or I'm tired or I really just don't want to interact with fans because we're all human and we have those moments. I try to just put on a smile and like just put myself in that position. Like they're always going to remember this. It's a one-on-one experience. Do everything in your power to make them happy. It is what it is. You signed up for this life.
Yeah. Do you ever get a feeling where you're like, I wish I just wasn't as famous. I just want to
live
a normal life. That kind of crisis.
I don't know if I told this story before on a podcast, but the worst one was when, we were like these $1 versus videos. We're flying like, all the time, like back to back to back to back. I'm basically living on a plane for whatever, like 9 days, 10 days straight. And one of those videos, like we had like a super late, not layover, we custom. So we landed in America. I haven't slept in 2 days. And like, there's a long line in customs. It's probably New York or something. And like this line is like a 2-hour wait. And it's just like a zigzag one. It's one of the longest ones I've ever been in. And I'm just in this line with my hood up, staring at the floor. And I'm like, I just hope no one recognizes me. Cause like, I'm deep in this line. Like there's no hiding here. You know what I mean? And it felt like there's like probably like 1,000 people in this line. And there's people to your left and right because it zigzags. A little kid to the right just kind of like looks up and it's like, MrBeast. It says it really loud. And then, he asks for a photo and I'm like, shh, please don't draw too much attention. And I take the photo, but now everyone else is like, oh, that's a famous dude because he just took a photo. And then obviously a bunch of people recognize me and they're asking for photos. And then people start asking for photos that don't even know who you are, but they're just like, oh, I want a photo because everyone else is taking a photo. And oh, I could just call my kids. And I'm just sandwiched in this line with a long wait time and people are just running all up and down the line. I haven't slept and I also like hadn't showered in a while and I was like, damn, these photos probably are turning out terrible. And I've already taken like 40 of them. In that instance, I was like, I hate being famous. I was like, I asked one of the TSA people, I was like, can I just like go to the front. Like, I don't mean to have an ego, but this is like brutal. As like kids are just like, MrBeast, and tapping me on the back. I'm like, please. And they're like, no. And I was like, okay. But I had my assistant there. So then eventually I just got out of line. My assistant waited in the line. And I just like sat in like a janitor closet. And I just remember thinking like, what the fuck is my life? I don't want to be famous. And then he texted me when he got to the front and just ran up there. But yeah, you have moments like those, and it's like, it sucks, but it kind of is what it is. Like, you know.
Yeah, well, obviously I'm not mega famous or famous.
People recognize you from the articles?
Yeah, people are like, wow.
Holy shit, you're the one who wrote that article about how MrBeast turns the table on the paparazzi. Whoa.
But I do always think when it comes to celebrities, I just think people think it's just all glitz and glam. It's like you just do all these amazing things, but yeah.
Which I don't blame you for, because I was the same way. Like when I was a nobody, I used to see these crazy articles about how, a celebrity was rude to paparazzi or didn't have like the most pleasant interaction with a fan. And I would always be like, man, what assholes. But now that I'm in this scenario, I have a lot of sympathy for, because there obviously are people who are more known than me, like theoretically Taylor Swift. And it's like, it's just a thing. Like every time you leave your house and do anything, you just are accepting that you're going to take 100 photos. You're going to have 2 awkward interactions. You're going to have someone stalk you. You coin flip whether or not someone trails your car home. Like then you experience that day after day after day after day, year after year after year. And it definitely builds up. If you're not careful, it would be easy to snap. And it's like a constant thing where you have to just like, be on point, MrBeast wants to fix U.S. healthcare and calls for government reform.
We kind of just spoke about this a little bit before, but you did the amputee video.
Yep.
And then, when you've previously done it, you've not necessarily spoke out about it. What was different this time for you? What made you want to kind of speak out and kind of talk about the problem that you perceive in the U.S. healthcare system?
Yeah. I want these videos to have as much impact as possible. And that video, I do think one thing we've lacked on is the educational side, and not just like, help people, but then also educating the viewers on how they can also help and what they can do. And so that's something I really focused on in the Helping 2,000 People Walking In videos. While we were helping these 2,000 people walking in, educate the viewers on like how, this is crazy. That in the richest country to potentially ever exist in history, there are people who don't have legs, and a YouTuber is stepping in to give them legs, which is just crazy. Especially the weirdest scenarios of all is like, even if you're like just a hardcore capitalist, like there are people who can't work because they lost their legs, right, in a car wreck or whatever, heinous thing. And because they lost their legs, they literally can't work a job. And so they're like, by giving them a leg or 2 legs for someone that lost both of them, they literally can go back to work, earn income, become productive members of society, pay taxes. And it's like a massive net positive. And so like people in those scenarios, like I honestly can't fathom why you wouldn't want, someone to, it's just silly. It's really silly. And then obviously that's not how you should look at it. I'm just, speaking to people who only care about money, but it's also on the flip side, it gives them their life back. It allows them to not have to have someone, go get stuff from the fridge for them. It allows them to go get something from the fridge, like basic things like getting out of the bed in the morning, just taking a shower. All of a sudden, these don't become like really difficult things. It just makes them a human. And it's like, as a human, you should want this for them,
Do you think that, you've obviously got plans, or you've mentioned plans about becoming president? Or
do you have an article for that?
I actually don't think we do in this list.
Whoa, you guys were slacking that week.
No, we definitely
Who's getting fired?
No, wait a second. We definitely wrote about it. We just don't have it in this list.
Okay.
So yeah, no, we definitely wrote about it. Don't worry, Jimmy. We've got you covered there. Would reform in healthcare be kind of one of the things that you'd lead with?
The thing is, I can't.
26?
Yeah, I'm 26. I can't run until I'm 35. But even then, I'm not. Realistically, if I were to run for president, it probably wouldn't be until I'm like late 50s or 60s. So, things are going to change so much. Healthcare might already be reformed by then. So
sure.
I don't even want to like talk about any of it till like another 2 decades, because America, by the time I run for president, is not going to be the same as it is today.
What we got next?
MrBeast shuts down. This is a fresh one.
It is a freshie.
Rumors he's launching a meme coin and still gets called greedy. Yeah, for some reason it was trending on Twitter that I was launching a meme coin. Bunch of like crypto pages were like, Jimmy's about to launch a meme coin. It was gaining steam, like a lot of tweets with thousands of likes. This is right after Trump launched his meme coin. We're talking about it. And I opened up Twitter and I was just saw it all. And I was like, guys, I'm not launching a meme coin. And then people started like dunking on me and being like, wow, greedy Mr. Beast not launching a meme coin, doesn't want us to get rich off his brand. And I was like, whoa, this is just what is 2025? This is not what I was expecting the reaction to be. Like, yeah. Anyways,
where do you stand in the crypto space? Is it something you're interested in? Are you kind of heavy into it at all?
Not really. Right now, I just got so much going on with Feastables and videos and doing things like this and the bajillion other things. Like, I'm good. I'm not launching a coin. I'm good. Let the other influencers launch their coins. They can handle it.
They can take the heat when it goes wrong. Okay, we're gonna go a little bit back in time here.
Young Twitch streamer pressured by Mr. Beast impersonator to destroy Xbox One. I was about to say I did not do that. I don't know if I actually. Oh, that's 2019.
Do you remember this?
No, not at all.
So a streamer received a MrBeast impersonator in his chat who told him to get a lot of money if he wrecked his Xbox. So it was obviously a long time ago, but I guess what I wanted to talk about mainly on the back of that is, the rise of people scamming. There's people, are you concerned about stuff like AI as it gets more developed?
Yeah.
I've seen stuff that's involved you. I've seen you in adverts for stuff that you clearly weren't advertising.
I know.
Is that a legitimate issue that you guys have? Is it something that you kind of try and deal with?
Of course. One of the biggest problems I have is like people just rip my face, and then now they use artificial intelligence to do voice to voice, and so it sounds a lot like me. And then they'll be like, download this. There's this one gambling site that they use it a lot on. It has like a pig. I don't even know the name of it, but it's just like it'll just be like 1,000 free coins, and I'm like, I never said that, but it starts to sound really real. And so I'm working with all the social media platforms to. One thing that we've worked with the social media platforms on is like getting it where people can't make accounts with the name MrBeast,
right?
Because that's brutal. Is when it's an account named MrBeast and then it has an ad and they use speech-to-speech AI to sound like me. Then it's like you can't really expect like someone who's 14 to like really discern that. But on YouTube, you can't make an account named MrBeast, and that's helped a lot. Like, because before, I don't know why, but they made it where you could use other people, two people could have the same name on YouTube, and I think that might still be a thing. But at least I
feel like on Twitter you could still get away with it.
No, Twitter's
really?
Yeah, because now that you have to pay whatever $8 a month, and then if you get caught impersonating, you don't get that money back. So Twitter's impersonation on Twitter's not bad. Impersonation on YouTube is great because it used to be horrible. So many people used to impersonate me on YouTube, but they cracked down on it and they figured out, and you can't use MrBeast in your name, and it's like much better there. I would say it's more probably on honestly, no. Every platform's working with me to like do it. So it'll have like its spikes, but then I'll make them aware, and I'm like, this is a huge problem, and they crack down and solve it. So it's not too bad at the moment. But yeah, like 3 years ago, it was a problem. Like I would see tweets every single day of people being like, oh, I just sent you $1,000, and I'd be like, no, that's not me.
Why do people do that?
Yeah,
I just don't get it.
I know, and I broke and that's why. But it's like, so I used to occasionally do tweets where I'd be like, where I'd call these scams out, but like not everyone sees the tweets, which is why I was like, okay, screw it. I'm going to stop just complaining and do something like that, which is why I went straight to the platforms and worked with them to solve a lot of this.
Just on the topic of AI in general, is it something that you kind of can see being implemented more within your company? Mm-hmm. Is it something that you're kind of interested in working with? You've got a very kind of, being around here for the last couple of days, you've got a lot of staff. There's a lot of people here. Nothing seems to be done in that regard in terms of AI. But Is it something that you kind of want to implement more in the future? And, what are your general thoughts on it?
Yeah, I want to implement it where we just make an AI Jimmy and I just don't have to film.
Right, okay. Quebble Cop style.
Yeah. Quebble Cop, but no, I was going to make a joke. But Jordy, I love you. I'm not going to make that joke. No, but right now, the big thing is like that video downstairs that we're filming. We have 400 cameras running 24/7, and it's like really hard to find footage of like, if I'm like, oh, find a shot where I mention Feastables. We don't mention Feastables in this video, or like, oh, this video is a little too serious. We need some funny jokes. So we'll use AI to like auto transcribe all the audio and the whole thing. So then you could just search and it'll, pull up straight to the clips. We also use the AI to just like cut, because sometimes we'll walk away with like 100,000 hours, and it's like, okay, I don't want to pay people to watch all 100,000 hours. It's just stupid. So like it'll just like cut all the dead space out. It'll go through and figure out all the shots that are just like pretty useless and auto chop it out. And so little things like that. But I mean, it's definitely going to transform. Well, and the other thing too is the big cool thing we've done with dubs or with AI is my dubs. We have the voice actor, read the script, and so it's still a voice actor. But then we changed the voice actor's voice to sound like me. Right. So it's not text to speech. It's speech to speech, right? Because text to speech isn't good enough yet. And that people love that because, like being able to hear me speak, theoretically, we don't do it in Spanish, but like if you're a Spanish speaker and you heard Jimmy speaking Spanish instead of some voice actor Jimmy's paying to speak Spanish, it's a whole different experience.
Is that surreal hearing yourself essentially?
Oh yeah, it's so language? Crazy. Yeah.
And can you tell it? Is it complete? Can you tell it's you then completely? Is it what mannerisms?
Yeah, I would say give it 6 more months and it'll be indistinguishable. Right now, you can still slightly tell.
Nice.
TikToker spends $40,000 to get MrBeast's attention and makes big mistakes.
Do you remember this?
Oh yeah, because he didn't follow me, so I couldn't DM him.
Correct.
That's what it was. Yes.
Yeah. So TikToker Ryan Prunty spent $40,000 on 3 billboards and a park bench ad to get your attention.
And I saw it,
but he didn't get your attention.
Well, no, he got my attention.
Sorry, he didn't get the phone.
But yeah, I saw it, and then this guy did spend all this money to get my attention on TikTok. He finally got my attention, and then I click on his profile, and he doesn't follow me. And since he didn't follow me, I didn't have a way to DM him. So I just tweeted this out, like, look at this guy, spent 40 grand to get my attention, but I have no way to communicate. I just thought it was really funny, and apparently they wrote an article on it.
Of course.
You know what? I think this is a good time for a Feastables peanut butter chocolate bar break.
I don't want to open the floodgates for people trying to get your attention, but do you mind when people try and do that? Like, do you mind that people try and, because you've done it yourself in terms of, you did stuff like saying Logan Paul 100,000 times, various other crazy things. Just talking about that quickly. When you look back on that, do you think, I can't believe I did that?
Well, there's a difference between saying someone's name 100,000. You're not going to eat it?
Well, I just don't want to chew on mic.
Oh.
But I've been.
No, it's fine.
Jimmy, I'll be honest. We've smashed a lot of Feastables the last few days. If I eat any more Feastables, I might die.
Okay. All right, he gets a pass. No, there's like a line, and it's hard to draw it, but just use common sense. Like, if you make a cardboard cutout of me and you're coming to my city trying to find me to give it to me, that's annoying and weird. That's crossing the line. But honestly, if you spend $40,000 on billboards to get my attention, as long as you don't get butthurt if I don't see it, like, that's fine. You know what I mean?
I wonder what you expected from that. Like, what do you expect?
Well, I mean, we'll never know. You should have followed me on Twitter.
Well, yeah, that's why I made sure when everyone's coming in, I was like, you better make sure you follow. You better follow Jimmy. He's going to ask you.
Show me. Toss me that phone. Toss it here. No, hey, stop. Toss it. I got it. I know how to search YouTube on your thing. Toss that bad boy.
There we go. Producer Dan.
All right, Producer Dan. Let's see if he follows me. MrBeast. You're not subscribed? What's your Apple password? I'll subscribe.
You're not subscribed?
It's only €5 a month.
Oh, subscribed. Oh, that's that the paid. Oh, that's the paid feature.
Okay, thank you for the $5 a month. Let's go. Yeah, make that a Dexerto payment. Wait, let's go.
We'll cover the $5.
We're gonna go on YouTube.
Jimmy.
He's not subscribed on YouTube.
Dan, you're not subscribed on YouTube.
I've got my other account.
Okay, I'll give him a pass. He watched all of the Ronaldo video. He really liked that one.
There you go.
But wait, my newest video, you clicked off 20% in. Oh damn, bro! If you don't like me, just tell me. Bro, that's people. The Ronaldo video is the only one he finished. Oh no, you finished my Olympics video.
He's just a big sports fan.
Yeah, that video was very mass appealing. I don't blame you. Here, I just hit play. Can you let this video play through for retention? Thank you.
There was another stunt that I saw someone pull off, which was he kept tattooing his name on him until you meet him.
I do not remember that one.
I saw a guy that recently did it with KSI, and KSI said, "I'm not going to meet you.
Yeah,
I'm not going to call you," but then he keeps doing it. Like, I don't know. Do you feel a bit lost sometimes where you're like, these people are just clearly
but the thing is, you can't interact with that person, or you shouldn't, because then it just encourages way more people to do it, Oh, hold up. Yeah. Can someone hand me a lunchly? What were you saying?
So, Logan Paul, you say his name 100,000 times. Did you ever think you'd launch a business with him?
Hell no. But here we are.
And, you faced a lot of criticism for the kind of relationship between Logan, KSI, and yourself. People kind of saying, oh, it's not authentic, that kind of thing. Where do you kind of, what do you say to the critics that kind of question the trio and what you guys are trying to do?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, we come from 3 different complete sectors of content, and it all couldn't be further apart. But the thing is, right, like if you look at pre-made meals like this in a grocery store, they're just full of junk and they're just terrible. And so Prime is obviously wildly successful. Everyone knows that it's the hottest, fastest growing beverage in history. Feastables is the fastest growing snack product to ever exist that I'm aware of. And so just like, it made so much sense to pair them together. And JJ, I didn't know too much until we start. Obviously Logan, because I said his name 100,000 times, and he's been in quite a few of my videos. But JJ, I didn't really know him too well until we launched this. But he's a great guy, and it just made sense to put our products together and just go at Lunchables and give people higher quality ingredients.
What's the power dynamic like between you 3? Because you're all essentially people that kind of got to the top of their games. You're all strong personalities.
Yeah.
Is there clashes? Is there kind of like wanting to kind of be above the other? Is there a kind of almost competitive between you?
No, I was worried that'd be an issue, but no, we're all like on the same page. We just want to see it succeed, and if they have something they feel very strongly on, then I'll hear them out, and they'll hear me out as well. But for the most part, we tend to agree. We're just trying to make take what's already out there. Like the leading competitor, we'll take this one because someone just handed it to me. So like the leading competitor for this, they don't use real cheese, right?
Sure.
Their cheese is literally called cheese product because so much of it isn't actual cheese. They have a lot of nitrates in their turkey. It's just like all around so much. This says cheese on the front because it's real cheese. And then this is turkey obviously without nitrates and blah, 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 blah. And so we just take what's already out there and just make a higher quality version for roughly the same price. And that's kind of our goal. So it's like a pretty straightforward mission.
Were you worried that it was going to put another target on your back when it comes to launching a product like this? You know what I mean? Especially it's essentially marketed towards a younger audience. Did you expect the backlash, I guess, that you got from a lot of people?
Well, the thing is, so there's 2 kinds of things. Like there are people who will say this isn't better than the leading competitor out there. And that kind of backlash is just not factually true. I mean, it just is. I mean, if you look at it. But there's other people who have said, well, we don't just want something that's better than the leading competitor. I could just say we don't just want something that's better than Lunchables. We want something better overall. Which, if that's your criticism, that's fair criticism. And so the thing is, this is just day one. Our next SKU, I don't think the boys would mind me saying, is a grilled chicken SKU, and we've been putting a lot of time and effort into it. Like as far as I know, Lunchables doesn't sell grilled chicken SKU or have a grilled chicken SKU, and we've been going all out on it. And hopefully that drops in the next couple months, and I think people are going to be like, whoa. Like I took all the feedback, or we took all the feedback that people were giving us and implemented it in this product. And so feedback's fine, as long as it's like actual real feedback. If you just say, oh, this sucks, well, there's nothing I can do about that. But if you give us something objective, like I'm always down to improve the products. Like I'll say, nothing's perfect. You know what I mean? So
because there's a lot of people came out filming YouTube videos. Oh, it's moldy, this, that, the other. It's kind of, I think you've addressed it previously. You've kind of said that inevitably with a fresh kind of product, that's going to happen if people leave it out, etc.
Exactly. Everything is USDA and inspected. We have rigorous oversight. There is no mold when this stuff leaves our factory. I mean, we have every QC quality check on the planet you could have. Like we hold this to the highest regard imaginable. But once it leaves our factory, I mean, obviously it's out of my control. Like this, what happens if I just left this here and then tomorrow I came back and opened it? Yeah, there might be mold on the cheese. You know what I mean? Because I just left it out here in the open unrefrigerated. And so, yeah, that's just something that's completely out of our control once it leaves our factory.
Here's a little segue. Talking to KSI, I first met him at an esports event back in the day.
Oh, really?
So here we go. MrBeast claims he's 100% going to buy an LCS team. This was back in 2022.
Yep.
We have a rich esports history, so we thought, you know what, why not ask a very important question. When are you going to get that LCS team, Jimmy? What's happened?
Yeah, no, bro, I love League of Legends. I don't know if I've ever talked about League of Legends on a podcast, but this will be a good one that makes sense. Yeah, you're hitting a lot of firsts. I want to own a LCS team. It's just I got a lot going on at the moment. I'm going to buy one. And League, keep the esports scene popping. I'm going to get around to it eventually. It might truthfully be another 3-4 years, but at one point in my life, man, I don't think I've ever said this publicly, but I've wanted to this is when I was like 14 and just dumb, but I wanted to be like a pro League player. I used to look up to Faker and all the top players. I would watch the fuck out of League every year, and it was one of the few things I related to like other people with, because like some of my friends in my middle school played League, and we would talk about it at lunch. And yeah, I've been playing League now for, is it 25? Yeah, I've been playing for 13 years or something like that. I've been playing for a very long time. So it would be awesome if I like made fuck you money to just like buy an LCS team, pour tons of money into the salary, spoil the players, import the best players, and like try to make a run for Worlds. That would be amazing.
See Faker on the MrBeast team.
I mean, if he's viable.
What would you call the team?
I guess probably Beast or something. I don't know. It's what matters more is winning. It would not be a thing about making money. It
Sure.
would not make money at all, especially if I want to win Worlds. But it would purely be like this would be my version of like rich people buy like NBA teams and football teams. I don't have that kind of money, but so this would be like a poor man's version of that, buying an LCS team and stacking and trying to win Worlds.
Do you look across at people like Ludwig and Moist? They're creating. Well, they've just joined forces to have a team at the moment. Is that kind of inspiration for you? Is that something you like? Okay, that makes it is possible for me to do that. Quite.
I'm not doing it for the love of esports. I'm doing it for the love of League of Legends. I fucking love League of Legends. It's such a great game.
Why did you not go pro other than obviously becoming?
Because I just suck, and the highest rank I ever got was platinum. So,
what's your timeline? Do you think when's a rough idea when we could see a Beast LCS team?
Probably another 3 years, realistically. We just got to keep the esports scene popping. I don't want to see a decline in viewership. I don't want to finally get a team and we win Worlds and everyone's like, no one cares. League's dead. Like, keep this shit going. One day I'll step in.
Do you think there's any other game that could kind of replicate like that love that you have for League?
Call of Duty used to have that, but I kind of grew out of Call of Duty. But for some reason, League of Legends is one of those games where you never stop playing. You just like, you never actually stop playing League. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's relatable to anyone else. It's just such a great game. So as of right now, I can't fathom like picking up a game now and playing it for 13 years like I have League.
Talking of competition,
Yeah.
there's a new kid on the block that is threatening your YouTube crown.
Whoa. Yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo, as Speed would say, beats MrBeast's record for YouTube channel subscriber count. He did.
How does it? You've even been on a video on there. You were kind of again.
I think we've done 3 videos on his channel together.
And you've done videos on your channel as well. So what's it like working with someone like Ronaldo? And do you think he took on board your advice? Because not to critique Ronaldo by any means, but it does feel like when you watch his videos, it doesn't feel like it's made by a YouTuber. It feels like it's made by a production company. So have you been kind of giving him advice? And are you concerned at all for your record there?
Well, he definitely shattered my record for most subs gained in a month. And honestly, I don't think I'll ever take that back. That's probably his forever. The title of most subscribers overall, that's a different story, But yeah, filming with Ronaldo was crazy. I told this story before, but when I was in contact with his team, I was like, yo, just give me like 3 minutes. I'll literally set up the challenge where like he can we can film it on his way to the bathroom. Like he can like literally be. I understand how busy this man is. Like
Sure.
We can literally film this on the way to Ronaldo using the bathroom. Like if that's what I got to do, I just really want to film with Ronaldo. I think my fans would love to see him in action in a video, and that's kind of how it started. And they did what I like to do with a lot of people too, is they kept the expectations low, under promise, over deliver. So they're like, yeah, we'll see if we can get like 30 minutes and blah blah. But then when as it was getting closer and we got there, Ronaldo was like, no, you can have as much time as you need. It's like what he was telling our team. And like, I was like, wait, what? Like, cause we were set up to like do it in a, like boom, 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 in and out. And then like when Ronaldo showed up, he was just kind of like, yeah, like I just want you to have good content and like, just let me know you can have as much time as you want. And I'd love to hang out afterwards. And I was like, what? what did he just say? And he was just so chill, went with the flow, easy to hang out with. And we finished filming, and I was like, because I still wanted to be very respectful, and so I was just quick efficient. He's the most followed man on earth. Hopefully I pass him one day, but for now, most followed man on earth. Obviously, fucking Ronaldo. He's everyone loves him. And so I was just like, we got done, and I was like, okay, you're good to go. Thank you. And he's like, you want to come hang out? And he invited me over to his house. And I was like, whoa. I was giving him every out in the book. Like, you don't have to entertain me. You filming this was great. Like, and now he's just a very nice guy. Invited me over. We chatted off camera a lot and just hung out. It was just like not what I was expecting. Like I felt like he treated me way better than I ever imagined. Very respectful, very giving of his time. And it was really a good experience, to be honest.
Do you think he's obviously Speed's obviously got this obsession with him? Do you think he's not met him because it's just so intense? Did you talk about him at all? outside of in the
yeah,
video?
I know. I mentioned Speed, and he knew who Speed was. Obviously, he's seen it, and they met briefly for a couple seconds that
That's
one time,
right.
I believe. But yeah, maybe Speed, when you hang out with Ronaldo, maybe just act normal. It's a word of advice from someone who sat on his couch, spent hours with Ronaldo. Like, just be chill. You just be yourself, Speed. Don't cry. Don't freak out. Don't smell him. Definitely don't bark at him. Just.
And we all know all of those
yourself.
things are going to happen as well.
I know, but the thing is, if you want Ronaldo to hang out with you again, just act normal, Speed.
And to finish it off, you guessed 60 since 2021.
Yeah.
You guessed 60. It's actually 208.
What the fuck? Why do you?
You left out the bad ones.
I haven't even uploaded 208 videos.
Since 2021 though, he's talking 4 years.
Yeah, I literally haven't even uploaded that many videos. You guys just write articles on everything, don't you? Jeez.
Well, Jimmy, you know what? It's called views.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if I'm getting clicks, keep it going, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, look, really appreciate the time, Jimmy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm gonna enjoy my lunch, Lee, as you do your outro.
Well, that'll be the outro. To be honest, we'll just cut it dead. Retention, baby.